stop AI. There's nothing you can do to hold back the avalanche that is coming to society. And you've probably heard other people talk about this, people that are very well respected, people that run billion-dollar industries. And the common theme that everyone wants to talk about is how AI is going to steal your job and take your livelihood. Well, if you're unfamiliar with how media works, it runs on negativity. And if you want to make headlines, you have to be negative and you have to talk about the worst case scenario. And you have to put fear porn out there that scares people and makes them think that, if they don't listen to you, they're done for. Well, that's not what this video is about. Because I am bullish on the jobs that AI is going to create that we cannot even comprehend because they don't exist in the way that the world is shaped today. And I think a perfect example of how we can look at this is look at the vast majority of white-collar jobs over the last 25 years since the advent of the cloud, internet, mobile phones, and social media. There have been millions of jobs created in these last 25 years that would have been impossible to comprehend 30 years ago. Within a 5-year period, the world changed so much that yes, a lot of the old jobs did get replaced. They got automated, they became more efficient because of technology. However, an entire new world of industries and jobs were created. As a matter of fact, if you think about just the marketing industry in general, it was not a very thriving industry. You had a couple advertising agencies. I'm talking like in the 80s and the 90s. Now, marketing is one of the most important categories. As a matter of fact, you don't even start a business unless you have a marketing strategy because distribution is the most important aspect in the world today because we're all Hollywood now. Back in the day, you needed to be in Hollywood if you wanted to be well known. Now, you can record a selfie on a $500 iPhone and be seen by millions of people 10 minutes after you post that video. That's the reality of the world that we are living in. So I actually think that AI is going to create a ton of jobs and it's going to be such a net positive on productivity that all of these fears and concerns about having to hand out welfare to people, I just don't believe it personally. I really don't. I personally know people that have made millions of dollars strictly through content creation. And if you think about that, that would have been insane to someone in 2010 even, before we really had the first influencers. So if you think about the way that AI is going, there's going to be a whole genre of jobs that do not exist today that will probably exist in 2 to 4 years. And a great example off the top of my head is a prompt engineer. Businesses are hiring prompt engineers, people that understand the nuance of prompting, understand how to talk in the language that the AI wants, and they can get the most productivity out of AI for an individual company that they are working with. Researchers, okay, is a researcher's job going to be replaced? Well, not really, but it's going to change a lot because what would have taken, 3 days to pull a deep research report on a topic, I can now pull in about 5 minutes with the ChatGPT deep research. And it's the worst it'll ever be today. It's only going to get better. However, this doesn't mean that researchers' jobs are going to go away. This means that the nuance of their job is going to change. Social media is being flooded with AI content. This doesn't mean that content creators will no longer have a job, but this does mean that there will be a new alpha in the industry. People will need to use AI in their content creation to make it compete with the other pieces of content that are getting put out every single day. And with that being said, there is so much slop on the internet when it comes to content. You could refresh YouTube over and over again, and you're not going to find a good video. So just because AI has created a lot more content, it's done the opposite of eliminate content creation jobs. It's made a good content creator worth their weight in gold. AI is going to do the same thing. So we don't need to live in fear that AI is going to replace you. If you're sitting here having anxiety about it, you're just wasting your time. What you can do is you can subscribe to this channel because I help you become better at AI and learn more about it. But also you can just try to think of it as a tool in your tool belt, right? So public speaking is a tool in your tool belt. If you're a developer, engineering is a tool in your tool belt. If you're a content creator, videography is a tool in your tool belt. Just throwing out some random examples. Well, regardless of the industry that you are in, you need to have AI in your tool belt. And AI is going to look different for a plumber versus a content creator, but it can help all of them essentially. And so my recommendation to you is, instead of worrying about what Dario from Anthropic's, doom's talking about, is to just shift your focus to, let's not worry about, okay, all the negatives. Let's focus on the positives. How can this make me 10 times better at my job today? And how can it help me down the road? So while we don't know what jobs are going to be created over the next 5 to 10 years, what we do know is that millions of jobs will get created. Millions of jobs will get upgraded. And overall, my prediction is it's going to be a net positive for society. We don't need to be scared of AI when it comes to jobs. We do need to be educated about AI when it comes to jobs, because then we will have the ability to take the knowledge and infuse it into whatever job, profession, career that we want to pursue. So please be thinking about artificial intelligence, be learning about it, go way deeper than simply ChatGPT or Grok, and really understand how these tools work, because you will find use cases for them that at first you could not comprehend. AI is going to be a massive net positive for society, and I hope that you don't give in to the doom.